Rated M for mature.
Don't let your kids watch it!
Alright, so we're continuing chapter 5. So we made it to the end of, I guess, chapter 4 within chapter 5. Based on the Steam achievements, I think there are 16 chapters within this part. So there are only 2 more Sundays left in October. Which means that if we keep up the current pace, we're only going to make it to chapter 8, which is only halfway through. So how I think we're going to have to do it is I was planning on doing some one-off streams during the week. But I think we might just be playing chapter 5 of Higurashi full-time now. So I think starting for the rest of the month, Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday will generally be Higurashi stream days. Because I want to make sure we can actually finish it by the end of the month. Having said that, if we can take it 3 chapters at a time per stream instead of just 2, we can probably get there a bit faster, so I guess we'll have to wait and see on that. But I am committed. I want to make sure we finish this before the end of the month. Also, I will not be streaming on Halloween itself. I normally do to finish up the Higurashi chapter, but I actually have plans with friends on Halloween. So, the day before Halloween is when we'll make sure we finish it up. So here we go. Oh, no, we're not loading a new game. We're loading the end of chapter 4. Boom. Got a ladybug infestation, so you're ready for Shion going bonkers. Oh, boy. That's great, Shirley. And hello, welcome to the stream, X-Dude. Welcome, welcome. All right, we went for the tips. Let's continue on. How crazy is Shion going to get? Yes! Yes! It's Best Girl! Oh, let's go. Am I glad to see you, Sensei? I mean, teacher. I mean, Chia Pet. Oh, yes. She's so beautiful. For a moment, I forgot that the class president was me. Oh, Shion's taken her place.
起立！委員長も少し寝不足みたいですね。最近は寝苦しい夜が続きます。でも、しっかりと睡眠はとるように。
That's just good advice.
いいですね、皆さん。
I'm not sure this place can be called a school, because there are so many different age groups. It's like a kindergarten and an elementary school blended together, with 2 high schoolers. Since I'd heard already about what this place was like, I didn't feel that uncomfortable. It wasn't too difficult to act like Mio in here. Oh, he's so sad. As Sis told me, Satoshi-kun looked exhausted. I said hi to him, but he ignored me. Oh no, how sad for you. Since I knew what he'd been going through, his pain looked apparent to me. I was interested in another person in this classroom. Oh, really? Satoko, Satoshi-kun's little sister. She looked as worn out as Satoshi-kun, emotionless like an abandoned doll. Yikes. She's got those dead eyes. Oh, man! Ugh. Her eyes are so expressive in the new style. I mean, I guess they're pretty expressive in all of them. But, ooh. We'll keep with the console style for now. Everybody in this room was aware of their circumstances, but no one could do anything for them. So they just acted as though nothing was wrong. Mion will only let me have this one day. If I slacked off even a little bit, today would be over with quickly. I had to figure out what I should do in this limited time. I should probably talk to Satoshi-kun. About what? Anything goes. Cheer him up, sympathize with him, anything will do. More than anything, I just wanted to chat with him. However, Sis had told me. She said Satoshi-kun didn't communicate much with her lately, and had distanced himself from her. I figured I shouldn't talk to him too casually. I wanted to, but maybe it was better to leave him alone. I needed to keep Sis's warnings in mind. But instead, I decided to ignore them. That's not going to work out for you. Oh wait, don't actually get to see her ignore them. I looked for Satoshi-kun during lunch break. He was walking as if looking for a place where he could be alone. I caught him in the hallway.
Satoshi-kun.
He turned around, startled by my voice. His facial expression surprised me. He was scowling, clearly a sign of rejection. That doesn't look like a scowl to me. They couldn't get a new sprite, but I couldn't hesitate. I'd lose my only chance if I did.
さ、元気?
He gave me a look as if saying, "Do I look fine to you?" I never expected to see an expression like that on his face. I felt like my heart was being torn into pieces. As I looked down, he spoke to me. I felt a little glad, but the next thing he said changed that.
元気だよ。他に用はないなら行くよ。昼休みは一人になりたいんだ。
そっか。バイトが大変なんだよね。疲れてるから一人になって休みたいもんね。今日もなんでしょ？今日はどこで？
Sis had found several jobs for him. He worked at a few different places. He was helping out when necessary at any of the shops Mion introduced him to. As a result, he constantly had to do different tasks in a different environment almost every time. On top of that, he requested high-paying jobs from Mion because he wanted a large sum of money as soon as possible. Okay, well hopefully he doesn't work for the Lethal Company. In other words, he chose to mostly do manual labor. He was exhausted every day because he wasn't that physically strong.
どこでもいいだろう。それに僕がどこで働くか。
Uh-oh.
ミオンなら知ってることじゃないの
You're
か。
slipping, Shion. Wait, what if Satoshi is on Keiichi crazy? Could be. I mean, we did theorize that in the previous chapters, that he may have been the one who killed his aunt. If so, yeah, he might be going crazy. He doesn't have the reptile eyes, though. If he gets reptile eyes, then we'll know. Mion did help him get the job. Yet Satoshi-kun didn't look thankful for that opportunity. This wasn't like him at all. It made me feel sad.
そうだよね。
Keiichi was very cold and mean when he was going crazy. That's true. He was also acting super paranoid.
ごめん。
要はそれで終わりかい。
Also, Keiichi has gone crazy in every single chapter. It's just manifested itself in different ways. He sounded so harsh. Why was he being like that? Would he ever stroke my head again? That's what you care about, of course. I couldn't help my tears. They flowed onto my cheeks. Satoshi-kun looked confused for a moment, but then he frowned again.
ごめん。監督がさ、また練習に来てほしいなって言ってたよ。
Don't bring Coach back into this.
監督には戻る気はないし。
たまにはさ、パッと体を動かして汗を流すのもいい
She's
と思う
doing
んだよ。
manual labor jobs.
ほら、スポーツっていろいろと。
興味ない。
I didn't know why he was being so hostile towards me. Why did he hate me so much? I was left bewildered. He's kind of going for a lot right now.
なんで？どうして？
バイトで忙しいから。めんどくさい。
違うよ。なんで私がここまで嫌われなくちゃならない
I
の？
feel like if you're not open that you're not Mion, this is not gonna go well.
自分の胸に聞けばいいじゃないか。
自分の胸に？
Did Mion not tell Shion about her family hating Satoshi? I feel like Shion would know that, just being familiar with the damn project history.
何を？私が何をしたの？わかんないよ、サトシ君。
I couldn't control my emotions any longer. Streaks of tears ran down my cheeks. Yep, there we go. Satoshi-kun gave me a hateful glare and walked away without saying another word. I couldn't even stop him. If I tried, he'd hurt me again with another cutting remark. Nothing he said was particularly cutting. Like, really. He's just being like, he's just shutting you down. I couldn't bear that, so I just watched him walk away. I wiped my tears and went back to the classroom. I heard somebody crying from inside. What's going on? I looked around the room to see. It was Satoko. I saw her bento box on the floor. I asked one of the classmates what happened, and it seemed that Satoko had bumped into somebody's shoulder when she stood up to go wash the box out. That was all. But Satoko was crying as if she was going to be chided badly. What happened was very minor. She could just pick up the bento box and things would be fine. It looked like the lid came a little loose, but it was definitely fixable. She didn't have to cry like that. Yeah, she's probably going through a lot too. Yet Satoko starting begging for her tears.
助けてよ。助けてよ。いいに。
Yeah, her aunt is a piece of work, because I'm guessing her aunt is like flipping the F out if she does tiny mistakes like that. Because of what happened with Satoshi-kun, I couldn't suppress my emotions very well. So instead, they exploded. Uh-oh, she's about to lash out at Satoko. I stormed up to Satoko while elbowing her classmates aside. I grabbed her by the head, then threw her into the wall. Dear Lord! Main villain of the chapter. Satoko screamed. She didn't seem to understand what had happened. Wow! She was shredding tears and shivering. She must be wondering why I did that. You're just a jerk. Also, yeah, Satoshi ain't gonna like that. You're the worst.
なんであんたがそういう目に遭うか。
Satoko cried for her brother's help again. Yeah, but I don't think he's coming. Yikes. Yikes, this is terrible. And so, I grabbed her head and threw her again. Wow! How does this girl have any fans? Satoko stumbled and crashed into a desk. The desk fell and the contents of the drawer scattered about. Satoko didn't even stand up. She just crouched and trembled while looking up at me. Good luck explaining this one! No wonder Mion only gave you 1 day. She knows that you're gonna be a terror.
あんたがそんなだから。
If you weren't like that, Satoshi-kun wouldn't have to suffer. Don't you get it? Victim blaming again! That's what I wanted to say, but I was too angry to utter another word. I picked up a bunch of textbooks from the floor and threw them at her face.
泣きたければ泣けばいい。
Shion, I'm like never going to sympathize with you. Like, this is completely unacceptable. Disgusting behavior.
でもね、泣いたってね、何も解決
And
しない。
textbooks are flipping heavy!
なんで泣くの？泣けば誰かが助けてくれ
She's
るから。
probably crying because you're throwing books at her face and shoving her face into the wall. And she's like 10! You dingus?
その助けてくれる人があんたの代わりにどれだけ傷ついてるかなんて想像もつかないでしょ。分かってるの？
Everybody is watching you do this, by the way, Shion, and they're gonna think Mion did it, and this is not gonna be good.
あんたの罪が。あんたなんかいなければいい。苦しいなら死ね。
Okay, nope. I'm hoping that Shion dies in this one.
そでも噛んで勝手に死んじゃえばいい。
Language, Shion.
サトシ君まで苦しめるな。一人で苦しんで一人で勝手に
Every
死ね。
sentence she says, by the way, she's throwing a new textbook at her face.
お前なんか死んでしまえ。
Get the teacher in here! Yikes. Yeah, the console is not making her cry enough, given the, given the circumstances. Yikes. Her desperate cries only increased my irritation. Wow!
泣けばいいと思うな。サトシ君にすがれば済むと思うな。甘えるんじゃない。お前さえいなければ。お前さえいなけ
Can
れ
the
ば。
principal or the teacher just come in and be like, alright? I kept on throwing things at her. Wow! Satoko curled up to protect herself and cried even harder. At that point, a girl with long hair ran up and huddled over to her. Yeah, when you make Rika mad, you done screwed up real bad. Do you have any idea how patient Rika is? I knew who that was. Rika Furude. One of Satoko's only friends.
サトコをいじめないでなのです。サトコはかわいそうなのです。いじめてはダメなのです。
I don't care if she's not in a poor situation. What Shion is doing is completely inappropriate. Shion is like, what, 16, 15 maybe years old? And she's like beating the crap out of like a 10-year-old girl. And the 10-year-old girl, like, that's all you really need to know.
かわいそうだから何をしても許されると思ってる？かわいそうだからサトシ君に寄りかかってもいいわけ？甘やかしてるんじゃないよ。こいつがどこまでも甘えてるから。
Stop.
サトシ君が辛い思いをしなくちゃならないんだ。
Standing in the way of like a grown woman beating up a young girl is spoiling her. Screw off, Shion.
ダメなのです。サトコをいじめちゃダメなのです。
Rika also became the target of my anger.
私はね、その甘えきったサトコの根性を教育してやってる
No,
よ。
you're unstable and unable to control your own emotions. You're in the wrong here.
邪魔しやがると、あんたの頭から叩き
You
割る
said
よ。
this in front of everybody. How is Mion going to brush this under the rug? Oh, that's right. She's a family of members of the Yakuza. I grabbed a chair and lifted it over my head. It wouldn't hurt. It wouldn't hurt only a little if I threw this thing at them. What? The heck? She's the worst. Rika tightly closed her eyes and covered Satoko with her body. I didn't care what the consequences would be. That's a problem. I didn't care if I hurt them.
Yamete!
Yes! Crazy Rena, please stop this.
Mii-chan!
Rena returned to the classroom and shouted at me. Then Satoshi-kun rushed in while pushing Rena aside. Oh, uh-oh. This ain't gonna go so well. Let's go back to console art style. Seeming to have grasped the situation immediately. He charged straight at me. Yeah! Justified! Until my body had hit the locker, I didn't even understand what had happened. There was a loud crashing noise. I'd left a dent in it. Yes, Satoshi! Let's go! I crouched there in pain. You deserve it.
Satoko! 大丈夫か Satoko!
にーにー
Yeah, she's not okay. She already was having a bad day, and then she got beat up by a grown woman. Satoko pushed Rika aside, jumped at her brother, and started crying again.
どうしたんだよ
Well, what you are not gonna believe this, Satoshi.
どうしてサトコが
私ね何もしてないのに
It's true!
何もしてないのに
Normally, Satoko is the instigator in this stuff. Not this time! This is all 100% Shion.
ミオンさんが
どういうことだ
And then Shion's like, why does Sadachi hate me so much? I don't understand it. It must be Satoko's fault. No introspection. Satoshi-kun shouted at me while clutching his sister. He looked fierce.
どういうことってサトコが何をしたよ
Yeah. Yeah, what did she do?
僕たちが何をしたよなんでいつもいじめられなきゃならないんだよどうしてだよ
Oh, he released Satoko and rushed up to me, grabbing me by the neck. Yes, justified.
さっきサトシ君は私に自分の胸
Oh,
に
Shion,
聞けって
don't
言
even
ったよ
try
ね
to justify what you did.
ならサトコの胸に聞いてみりゃいいじゃない
何を
サトシ君だって自分で認めてるん
You
でし
don't
ょ
know bleep.
サトコがあんたにべったり頼ってるからサトシ君の重荷になってるんでしょサトコがもっとしっかりしてればサトシ君がこんなに大変な思いをすることなんてないそいつが全ての元凶
How
なの
about... No. You know, everybody knows my feelings on this. Let's just keep reading. I don't believe what I said was wrong. This is why you suck! But after hearing it, Satoshi-kun went berserk. Yeah. Reptile eyes coming out.
いい加減なこと言うんじゃない
Satoshi-kun grabbed my hair and threw me to the wall, just like I did to Satoko. Yeah! Let's give a big round of applause for Satoshi for standing up for his little sister. However, I wasn't going to back down. I no longer had any control over my emotions at all. Bold of you to imply you had any control over it prior to this moment.
サトシ君だってサトコを甘やかしすぎてるよあんたがそうやって際限なく甘やかすからそいつはいつまで経ってもあんたにすがってばかりなんだよ
This is very reminiscent of when Keiji yelled at Mion in Chapter 1. And in Chapter 3. Ironically, he didn't yell at her in Chapter 2, which is the chapter that he probably should have. Although, I, again, definitely think it was Shion in Chapter 2.
お前に僕たちの何がわかる何がわかるってんだよ
How has no, like, faculty member heard the bedlam in this room?
父さんや母さん
Yeah!
村ぐるみで追い詰めてそして今度は僕たちが
Yeah!
それがそのザキ家のやり方なんだろ
Maybe this is why he wants to leave. He just hates their family.
どこまでも村の裏切り者をいじめ抜くそんなに楽しいかよ弱い者いじめがそんなに楽しいかよ
もうやめて
This is one of the rare times where the massive, like, screaming actually works because it's a genuinely serious and emotional situation. That was Rena's voice. She stepped in looking as fierce as a demon.
サトシ君、もうやめてあげて。
How have we gotten to the... Well, no. Actually, that's not true. Satoshi... I was about to say, how is Rena the voice of reason? But actually, no. I don't disagree with anything Satoshi's done up to this point. He and Rika are the real voices of reason. Satoko is too emotional for this. And Shion's just a bad guy here. Okay. We get... Ah! Okay. Satoshi looks a little too derpy in this art. Yeah. Oh, wait. Why? Okay. I actually really like Rena's art style in the OG style. I don't really get why it always looks like she's like picking stuff with like her thumb and her like pointer finger. Like, ooh, I must pick this off the plate because I do not eat the parsley on the dinner. Wow. Oh man. Okay, Rena looks pretty different in all three art styles, but I like it. Like I like all of the different art styles for Rena.
みーちゃんに悪気はなかった。
You know, that is technically true. Mion does not.
サトシ君の力になってあげたくて、その気持ちがちょっとずれて空回りしちゃっただけ。
No, I don't agree with that, actually.
ね。
Rena, don't... I get you're trying to de-escalate, but don't defend Shion here. She's just in the wrong. Satoshi-kun looked like he wanted to say something back, but he chose not to. Rena's only been here for 2 weeks, but we already know not to cross her.
みーちゃんももうやめて。みーちゃんが誰よりもサトシ君のことを心配してるのは知ってる。だけれど、こんなやり方はそれの解決にはならない。そんなの、ちょっと落ち着いて考えればわかることだよね。
I agree, Ruben. Like, yeah, it's not Mion and Shion's fault that the Hojos are persecuted by the village. However, Shion and Mion, I don't think are doing anything to really, like, stop that or, like, de-escalate it. Maybe they don't really have the authority to do that, but Shion's just making things worse. Since Satoshi-kun didn't say anything, I kept quiet, too.
ほら、さとこちゃんも。お弁当箱を落としたくらいで泣くことはないよ。ね。
I mean, she does, but she had a rough day. You had a bad day. Oh, you could barely even see her in that one. Why, Rena? Don't look so happy right now, okay? This is a very serious situation right here.
落ち着いた？さとこ、僕がお弁当箱を拾ってあげますよ。
Thank you, Rika. You can't. Rika looks a little odd in that art style. There we go. I don't think Satoku's just gonna walk off getting beat up by Shion, though. Rika started picking up the bento box while its owner continued to cry.
みんな、片付けを手伝ってくれる？
Meanwhile, all of the other elementary school kids just like watch this like, I don't want to go to school anymore.
もうすぐ先生がカレー菜園から戻ってくる頃だよ。
All it takes is one bad day. Pretty much. I think Shion's had quite a few bad days, though. Shion's anger is valid. She's just directing it at the wrong person. I guess, but if your anger is to the extent that you're, like, willing to beat up a kid, you probably need to control yourself.
これでもう喧嘩は終わったから、先生には余計なことは言わない。いいね。
The classmates looked at each other and nodded, then started picking up the stuff on the floor. Is no one gonna tell the teacher about this?
はい。サトシ君もみーちゃんも仲直りの握手。ほら。
ごめん。こんなつもりじゃ
Yes, you did.
なかったのに。
Don't lie. Tears started to roll down my cheeks again. Again, she's not sad because she said, I don't think I did anything wrong. She's not sad because she regrets what she did. She's sad that there's consequences.
僕も
She's the worst.
悪かった。
You have nothing to be sorry about, Satoshi.
僕たちがいじめられてるのは大人の都合で。
No, but she's not making it better.
ミオン、ごめん。
さあ、みーちゃんは次にさとこちゃんに謝る。はい。
I was fine with apologizing to Satoshi-kun, but I didn't want to apologize to her. Yeah! See? She doesn't regret what she did. But the situation wouldn't be settled otherwise, so I reluctantly apologized. I wouldn't accept this if I were you, Satoko. Satoko nodded, looking discouraged. After that, Rena let me go. My head ached, and so I held it with both hands. What was that? What did I do? I didn't want to use this precious time to fight, Sis had warned me. She told me that I shouldn't talk to Satoshi-kun just like that. What did I come here for? I shouldn't have come here if I knew this was going to happen. Stupid. You're stupid, Shion! I was overcome by emotions because I was so worried about Satoshi-kun. So when did things go wrong? Were they wrong from the beginning? I got into a fight with Satoshi-kun. This was totally the opposite of what I wanted. I regretted it. I hated myself for it. I couldn't blame myself enough. My world had been split apart. I wish the sky would fall and kill me. That is true. I agree. The story is very good, and it is believable that it's complicated situations that people are trying to make simple. It does make for good drama. It's just this. I'm a very. I'm pretty strong in my beliefs, so I tend to call things as they are. So if there's a complicated situation with a bunch of people with like different opinions and acting like really emotionally, I tend to like easily zero in on one person where I'm just like, yeah, like you're being stupid. Stop it. Like, why are you being stupid? So it's interesting. Sis sounded both amazed and confused. How much did you tell her? Did you tell her everything? You better, because she's gonna need to figure out how to smooth this over.
ただでさえ綿流しの直前でいろいろと忙しいってのに、シオンは話をさらにややこしくしてくれるな。
ごめん。
Sis tried to say something, but she stopped in the middle. After listening to a few complaints, I started telling her about everything that happened today. Sis had to pretend that the trouble I caused today was her responsibility, which must have been very taxing for her.
もう当分は入れ替わり使いはね。
No, not even for a while. You've lost your go-to-school privileges, Shion. You went to school one day and you beat up a 10-year-old.
シオン、あんた、ちょっとは私の迷惑を考えてほしいな。
それは。
Well, I'm glad my reactions are in some way entertaining. Sis had been sympathetic, but maybe I pushed her too far this time. Literally, you pushed her into a desk. Of course, she'd be hesitant to trade spots, considering what I did today. The atmosphere felt awkward, so we were both silent for a while.
仮にさ、もう一回機会があったとして、シオンはどうするの？
Oh, I'd definitely beat up Satoko again. That was a reasonable question. I wasn't prepared to answer, though. If I had the chance to go to school once again and see Satoshi-kun, what would I do? Would I apologize to him about today? I don't think that would work. That might even upset him again, no matter how hard I tried. Okay, here's something that he was saying. It was the Sonozaki family who had been harassing his. It would only be natural for him to hold a grudge against us. But why was he only expressing that now? Well, based on what you know, I've been a Sonozaki to him all along. Satoshi-kun stroked my head even though he knew I was Mio and Sonozaki.
おねえ、率直なところ、サトシ君は園崎家を恨んでるんだよね。
That's possible.
だと思う。
That would be very reasonable. It was our family that initiated the persecution of the Hojo family, making them into scapegoats. Even after the dam conflict, it wasn't easy for the Hojo family to live in Hinamizawa. Given all of that, it's not surprising that Satoshi-kun hates us, the Sonozaki family who put his family in a devastating situation.
でもさ、だったらなんで今頃になってなの？
She's like, he hasn't.
なんで今頃になってこうなるの？それなら
If he had rejected me in the first place, I wouldn't have wanted to get close to him. My tears wet my cheeks. I didn't bother to wipe them. It's only natural for him to hold a grudge against the Sonozakis. There's nothing unusual about it. Rather, why has he been treating me like a friend? I knew how stupid this question was.
サトシが大人だったから、年か。 言えないと思う。
Something that you're not, Shion.
そんなのってひどいよ。
He'd been treating me as a friend because he was mature, but now that he'd become stressed mentally and physically, he's decided to reject me. No matter how hard I thought about it, I couldn't find anything to fault him with. If there were somebody to blame, it'd be somebody I'd never accused before.
なんで鬼ババはサトシ君の一家をいじめようって言い出したわけ？
Well, we needed a scapegoat.
ダムに賛成したのはサトシ君の親でしょ？サトシ君が賛成していたわけじゃないでしょ？なんで一家丸ごといじめようって話にな
Yeah,
ったの？
but shame and honor culture in the East tends to flow down to family members as well.
どうしてよ？
Mion couldn't say anything in return. Actually, it wasn't at all hard to guess the reason. The hag didn't give any specific order to harass the Hojo family. She just thought the Hojo family was getting in the way. The people around her noticed that what was bothering her and took steps to get rid of it. Though, of course, she must have known how influential her own words were. She didn't just think it. She gave what she must have known would be interpreted as an order. She's the one to blame for initiating the attack on the Hojo family. Yeah, Granny doesn't seem like a very nice character.
前にお姉はフルデの神主さんのことを和を乱すのは大人じゃないみたいなことを言いましたよね。つまりこれもそういうわけ。村中が団結しなきゃならない時に異を唱える北条家は大人じゃなかったと。だから制裁する必要があったと。そういうわけなんでしょ？
Mion couldn't say anything in return, meaning that my accusation was the truth.
なら制裁は北条の親だけで十分じゃない。本家の拷問室にでも連れ込んで指の一本も跳ねてやったらいい。でもそこまでで十分でしょ？サトシ君は関係ない。
It's very weird how nonchalantly they bring up that they have a torture room in the garden.
サトシ君には何の関係もない。
But why does that exist?
サトシ君が何をしたっていうの？サトシ君に何の罪があるっていうの？答えてよ。答えてよ、ミオン。ミオン。
はい。ではよろしくお願いいたしますね。失礼いたします。
Mion suddenly changed her tone and hung up. She must have done that to escape from my questions. I was furious. I started redialing the number, but then I remembered that we decided to hang up the phone after using that phrase when she saw the hag coming. I doubted she actually saw the hag, but it was the rule, so I couldn't call back for a while. I went to the bathroom to wash my face and cool down. I turned on the faucet. The water felt lukewarm. It didn't help me cool down at all. I'm disgusted by my own childishness. I wanted to fill my void. I didn't care about him, considering that Satoshi-kun was very generous, but I don't know if I can forgive Satoko. That's a different story. Notebook page 26. You are such an... Bah! Higurashi when they cry.